Hello, everybody. It's Philip Lee returning with another episode of Civil War Chat. Please click on the subscriber button below to subscribe and notify and click on the notification bell to be notified when there are new episodes. Today, I'm going to talk about pivotal politics or just desserts. I've been debating what the topic, how I ought to label the topic, but let me just get started. Today is April 3rd, 2021. It's a Saturday. Today's Republicans are on the run. And they are getting what they deserve. This past week, President Biden lied when he said that Georgia's new voter integrity bill would change the hours in which the polls are open, that it would prevent anyone from taking a drink of water while waiting in line to vote, or that its proposed absentee ballot regulation changes are oppressive. Even the Washington Post gave Biden 4 Pinocchios for those remarks. That's remarkable. The Washington Post did that. Yet nearly all of the mainstream media repeats President Biden's lies as both factual news, as if it were factual news, and reasons for punishing Georgia, specifically Georgia's Republican Party. As a result, the state's Republicans are being bullied. Major League Baseball has moved their planned All-Star game out of the state, while former President Barack Obama cheers them on. It's remarkable. I've lived a long time. I've never seen a former president get so involved in the politics of later administrations. To me, it signifies a complex that Obama has, that he considers himself to be uniquely important to the history of America, or uniquely important to the history of the world. Nonetheless, by denouncing this Republican bill in Georgia, Coca-Cola and Delta, two Georgia companies, are basically endorsing Biden's lies. Confederate heritage defenders have known that Biden will lie for political advantage, since he accused those of wanting to preserve Charlottesville's Robert E. Lee statue back in 2017 as being racist. Biden accused them of being racist. He deliberately jumbled the defenders of the statue with a separate group of white supremacists that were also rallying at the time. When he falsely accused former President Trump of referring to the supremacist group as, quote, very fine people, close quote, contemporary videos undeniably show that Trump was referring to the statue defenders as very fine people. Some of the statue defenders as very fine people, not supremacists. Thus, Biden deliberately lied in order to tar Trump with a white supremacist brush in the public mind. And that is the label that helped get Biden elected president. Notwithstanding the video proof of Biden's lie, nearly all Republican politicians chose not to contradict Biden or even contest his claim, because they were too cowardly to associate themselves with anyone wanting to honor Robert E. Lee. No matter who that person was, if he wanted to honor Robert E. Lee, no Republican politician that I'm aware of would associate himself with that person. None of the Republicans gave a full-throated defense of Lee's statue. Notwithstanding that Confederate monuments have been an important political issue in Georgia since at least 2017, neither of the party's two candidates in the January Senate runoff election said a single word in defense of them. As a result, I suspect the state's traditional voters may have decided to boycott the election. That may explain why the GOP lost control of the Senate when two Democrats were elected from Georgia. Since then, Republicans have become panicked by reversals on multiple fronts. First, President Biden threatens the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Yet the National Rifle Association did not defend Confederate heritage, notwithstanding that heritage supporters probably own more guns than the average American. Second, the Democrats seem destined to abolish the Senate filibuster, which means that we'll have simple majority rule in Washington. No safeguards for minorities. By minorities, I mean minorities during the voting tally at the end of the votes in Congress. Third, Democrats also seek statehood for Washington, D.C. and possibly Puerto Rico in order to gain long-term control of the federal government. By dominating new state admissions, they are merely following the strategy of the postbellum 19th century GOP, which was designed to give political power to the North while enabling the South to languish in poverty, or really not only enabling it, but promoting that outcome. Consider, for example, in the 19th century, the first 11 states that joined the Union after the start of the Civil War each added 2 new Republican senators when they did come in to the Union. And that was at a time when the South's economic interests were basically supported by the Democrat Party, not the Republican Party. The Republican Party wanted high protective tariffs to protect the Northern manufacturers. The South wanted low protective tariffs so that it would benefit the export economy of the South. Republicans basically controlled the federal government, with one chief exception, until the Great Depression. And that one exception was when Woodrow Wilson became president. And he would not have become president except for the fact that the Republican Party split, with Theodore Roosevelt running in the Bull Moose Party and Howard Taft running as a Republican. In truth, former South Carolina Republican Governor Nikki Haley triggered Southern cultural genocide when she removed the Confederate battle flag from the state's Capitol grounds in 2015. Few, if any, Republicans have since lamented the cultural annihilation that came during the ensuing 6 years. Many even continue to cheer it onward. No matter how vigorously Washington Democrats move to marginalize the power of the state houses by increasingly centralizing the power of the federal government, the Republicans in the affected states may find that they have underestimated the number of voters they have alienated by neglecting to defend Confederate statues. I mean, where is the voice of the Republican politicians in Virginia when Stonewall Jackson's statue was removed from VMI, or when the statues were removed from Monument Avenue? And now when Washington and Lee University is considering removing the name of Lee from the school. I mean, the Republicans, as far as they're just silent. They are so afraid of losing the votes of ethnic minorities that they throw other Americans, such as those who have Confederate ancestors, under the bus. Similarly, by failing to give voice to the defenders of Confederate heritage, even the media properties that are fighting against the growing size and centralization of the government may lose more support than they expect. When did anybody get on Fox News, the Daily Wire, Prager Video, any of those to defend Confederate monuments? I can't think of a single time. Those properties, even though they're fighting against the centralization of the federal government, have no interest in any other narrative about the Civil War and Reconstruction than the one that is currently being told by academia, where these media properties commonly object to the academic interpretations of history, otherwise, outside of the Civil War and Reconstruction. Now that Biden has signaled that he wants to raise taxes No doubt the Republican big shots are going to fight it, but they also may regret that they never took a stand on cultural issues. If all the Republican Party, the big shots in the Republican Party, really care about is lower taxes, they may find they cannot rally enough voters to support their cause when they have stood by silently while an entire Southern culture is demonized and erased. I can't know for sure what's going to happen, but I'll never make a prediction about what kind of a presidential election vote is, how it's going to turn out, or how the culture might change or not change. But if you really want to understand what how the Republican Party of the 19th century manipulated the government during that period in a way that is comparable to what the Democrats are trying to do now, then get Southern Reconstruction. My book, Southern Reconstruction, $22 at Amazon and other fine bookstores. If you want a signed copy, you can email me, Phil_, that's Phil, PHIL _Leigh, LEIGH at me.com. Okay, that's our show for today, and thanks for watching.